Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, December 18th of 2022. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives that create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. And today we're going to zero in on personal transformation and universal harmony. And I want to share a story with you about really what kind of my journey with this. Somebody was asking me some specific questions last night, and it just sparked in me that place where it really came together and connected for me. And I didn't have time to share the whole story in the place that we were in. So I wanted to just bring that to us today, share a little bit more about that story with her in mind and with all of you in mind, and also for myself. And see if we can, each of us, come to that deeper place inside of ourselves where that true connection with what we value most and what is most important for us really comes into that, like that straight line into the depths of our heart, where it touches all the way into the core of who we are, and then comes out in a way that really emanates from our being into our world, where we really live it and breathe it, and we live in conviction. And conviction not from a place of righteousness to the respect that we're going to go beat up everybody who doesn't agree with us, but from that place that really feels it at the depths of our being as this is what harmony is, from the depth of my being into every aspect that I can have influence over in my life, that I can have personal sovereignty and domain over, that I want to live in alignment with this personal conviction inside of myself, and then watch the ripple effects happen in the world around me, right? Because each of us, it's like we are all facets of one greater jewel. And there is a hadith in the Sufi tradition that says, it's a hadith Qudsi, means it was a saying from God given by the angels. And it says that I was a hidden treasure and I desired to be known. So I created the creation and made them to know me. And we are the creation that was created, and we are here to know the hidden treasure. And each of us is a facet of a jewel. And when we really polish our facet, our side of the jewel, and we allow ourselves to see clearly, to align and then shine brightly through that clear edge, that clear side, if you will, and that clear surface, then we help to illuminate the jewel. You know, part of me says it's for the greater good, and part of me wonders, is the greater good recognized, realized, perceived only through the lens and the deep heart and the mirror of the one who sees? Do you know what I'm saying? So there is an individual seeing that we each have, and then there is the greater seeing of the collective consciousness, because, you know, as we've talked about many times, we're really cells of one body, and you can't tell certain cells to do one thing and other cells to do another thing, and when they're not in harmony with each other, expect for the body to have health overall. So from the perspective of ourselves, what we see is perceived through the individual lens. From the perspective of we are part of a greater whole, and not really, it's not about us, then do we contribute to the seeing of the greater whole, the hidden treasure who desires to be known. So that's what we're going to get into today. So let's come into our meditation and healing circle. And let's come together sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Let's come together sitting side by side. Let's bring everything to face into the center of our circle. And we call on our source. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your pure divine light. And just imagine this pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle. Imagine this ball of light, stream of light, being of light, whatever best resonates for you. And let this be your focal point for this moment. Bring all of your senses, your sensory organs, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, and all of your sensory, and let everything face toward this one being of light, one ball of light, one stream of light. But face into that light. Or that, if you want to put the name there, however it resonates for you. But let it be a focal point that you bring all of your attention to. And just let that light radiate into your being. Right. There is, in the Sufi tradition, there is a teaching about the light, the creation of light itself, and the radiance from the light. The radiance from the light is what beams light into our eyes so that we can actually see a reflection and see images, right? And then our minds actually perceive the images and make sense of them, make sense of the images. So let the radiance from the light shine into all of your senses, into your eyes, in your nose, your mouth, your ears, and through the pores of your skin. And really let it be absorbed into your body. And invite all of the cells of your body to turn and face into this light, to face this light and to receive the radiance from this light. And just feel it if you can, perceive it shining on your body and really radiating this light into all of your body, into all of your cells, through your pores, through your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and all of that transfers into your nervous system, into your neurological pathways. So let that radiance from that light come into your body and travel through your neurological pathways, this pure divine light. Let it travel through your pathways, just cleansing and purifying. Light can cleanse and purify. So let it cleanse and purify these pathways. I took a class from a holistic eye doctor, and he said with the eye conditions that he sees, 10% are from the physical structure of the eyes, 90% is from the mental perception. It's from the perceptions that we have of what we see. So as this light travels through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, through your mouth, through all of your sensory intake organs, all of your organs that intake information, intake light, let this light travel through and clean up those places where pictures and our perceptions perhaps take in information and skew it away from what it is meant to be or what it is in a given moment, right? We skew based on perceptions of what things have been, or expectations of what things will be or should be. So let all that be cleaned up to the place that is in the highest for you, and just ask your angels for help, ask your source for help to really direct what is in the highest for you to be cleaned up, to be purified, and let that light travel through all of your organs and through those pathways to cleanse and purify. And we call on the divine name for this pure divine light is Nur, Ya Nur. Ya means O. It is invoking the divine power of pure divine light. Ya Nur, Ya Nur, Ya Nur. The light and its radiance. Ya Nur. And breathe that in with each breath. Just inhale it into the core of your body, all the way into your vertical core. You have a column of energy that runs through the top of your head and through the center of your body, in front of your spine, through the very center, halfway front to back, halfway side to side, and all the way down and through your base. And let that be infused with this pure light also. And as you inhale, draw all of that pure divine light all the way through your body and into that vertical core. And as you feel this like drawing into your vertical core, just elongate your spine and just align your head over your heart and over your pelvic bowl and your sacral center. Just feel that alignment and feel that column of light at your core lengthen and infuse with pure divine light. Ya Nur. And together let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love. And just imagine, perceive this unconditional love streaming into the center of our circle. Divine name for unconditional love, Wadud. Wa is that all-encompassing. It is the grand and. Wadud, the unconditional, all-encompassing love. Unconditional means no conditions. We as human beings have learned to put conditions on love. What we think will bring us love or take us farther away from love or bring other consequences or the pain that comes from when we lose love. All of those things that we associate with love, the conditions we put on love, but love itself is an existence. It is an existence. It is a vibration. It is a reality. And in the reality of love, there is only love, and love only loves. So imagine this pure, unconditional love streaming into the space in front of you, and extend to your heart center, that funnel of energy from the front of your heart. Just extend that into this space of unconditional love, and let it be like a funnel. And let it catch this stream, this waterfall, gentle waterfall of unconditional love streaming in, and just let that travel in through your heart center, through that funnel. And with your breath, as you inhale, breathe in that unconditional love all the way into the center of your heart. And as you exhale, if you feel any tension, constriction, any hardness, any clutter in your heart center, just blow that out with your exhale. And as you inhale, inhale that unconditional love and that pure divine light deeper into your heart center. And as you exhale, blow out and release the clutter, the tension, the constriction. Let it go. Any of the what ifs and the yeah buts, you let those go. And breathe that pure, unconditional love and divine light. Breathe it in deeper and deeper into your heart center. And each time you inhale, feel it go deeper and deeper as it approaches that vertical core that we talked about that runs through the center of your body. And exhale, just blow out any additional clutters, like excavating with your breath, right? Inhale deeper with each inhale, and exhale, blow out anything that has been in the way of your breath and that pure unconditional love going deeper into the center of your heart. And take a full breath, breathing in that unconditional love, and breathe it all the way in through your heart center, all the way back to that vertical core. And as you exhale, just let your conscious body lean back into your vertical core. Just fall back and lean into this pure divine light and receive this unconditional love that's pouring through your heart center, and let it pour over your whole being like a gentle waterfall. You stand in this purifying light and absorb this unconditional love and allow yourself to be loved, and receive the love into every cell of your body through this inpouring of unconditional love streaming in through your heart. Leaning into the pure divine light, Yanur, and allowing this unconditional love, Ya Wadud, to stream over you, and let your body be like a sponge, and let the sponge of your body absorb in and be hydrated with this unconditional love, and let your sponge just become saturated, sopping, fully hydrated with unconditional love. So your whole being is like in an ocean, and fully hydrated and fully filled, every little particle of your being filled with this water of unconditional love. Just let it fill you and fill every cell and every space within you, between your cells and space within your cells. Just let everything be hydrated and cleansed and nourished with this unconditional love, and feel yourself being loved. The love that does not care about any conditions you've ever put on it. It loves you. It loves you. It is love. And let yourself absorb this love and be the love. Be the love. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your eternal compassion. And this compassion is the ocean of living consciousness, the cosmic womb that contains us in this material realm of time and space. This material realm of time and space, it appears to be a finite, three-dimensional space. It is I call it the ultimate reality show, that we have been dropped into these bodies to experience this material realm through our physical bodies and our senses, so that we can learn about something that is far beyond this 3D realm. And we learn about it through absorbing this light and feeling the power of love and resting into this ocean of living consciousness, which is eternal compassion. This cosmic womb of compassion is what holds and contains us individually and collectively as one body. This is our mother womb, our cosmic womb that holds the entirety of our existence as one, in one nurturing, loving, safe, accepting womb space. So let yourself, as you Like absorb this light into your vertical core, and you're rained upon with this unconditional love, absorbing it and being loved. And as you exhale, really let yourself just drop down into your body and let your whole body rest into this womb, this safe container of eternal compassion. And what is compassion? Compassion is love and mercy and acceptance and everything all contained into one. It holds you. It loves you, it sees you, it nourishes you, it nurtures you, it accepts you completely for who you are. So let yourself be held there, let yourself rest there, let yourself radiate this pure divine light and absorb this unconditional love, to be the light, to be the love, to be held in the compassion, immersed in the ocean of compassion, to be the compassion. And our world needs the compassion, the acceptance, the love. I promised I wanted to share with you a story of how I came to recognize a conviction within myself and really shift the way that I was living. And most of you who come here know my conviction to veganism. And I want to share this story because I have a conviction to veganism and I have a conviction to Sufism. And my Sufi community is not vegan, does not hold vegan as a conviction, as a part of the teaching, of the belief. And someone asked me last night about, well, which did I come to first? And how do I reconcile? She didn't say specifically, but I think what she was meaning is, how do you reconcile the difference? So I want to share a little bit about that because, I've been asked many times by vegan advocates, how can you have a spiritual teacher who is not vegan when your conviction toward veganism is so strong? And it's a very good question that I've really, come to terms with within myself. And so, Bismillah. To answer that first question, I came to veganism first before, or at least vegetarianism. Okay. I came to vegetarianism. And at the time that I found the Sufi path, I was vegetarian, still consuming dairy products, cheese and eggs. And, so dairy and eggs, I was still consuming those, but not meat. I didn't want anything that killed the animals. And I felt very strong and passionate. And I felt a deep aching in my heart to not do anything that would harm the animals, to the best of my knowledge at that time. And to the best of my knowledge at that time, that meant killing them for food. I didn't want anything to do with that. And I knew that in my heart, I had a deep longing to know God. I had a deep longing for service. I had a deep longing to live the life that my deep heart was calling me to live. And that meant very strongly that I didn't want to participate in the animal agriculture, in the meat industry, right? I hadn't made the connection into the dairy and the egg industry at that time. I was starting with the meat industry. So I knew in my heart that that was something that seemed absolutely horrific and very cruel, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And I did not want a penny of any money that was given to me through the universe or through my hard-earned work or anything else to go toward that industry, because of the very many practices that were outright cruel and deceptive, because not only is there cruelty to the animals, and not only does the cruelty done to the animals, it just like vibrates and emanates a consciousness of horror and terror and trauma into the collective consciousness. And I didn't want any part of partaking or supporting that activity, and I certainly didn't want to take it into my body. Now, I didn't want, in addition to that, I had come upon the information of, how much of the advertising and the propaganda around we have to have this protein and we have to have this meat and all of this, and the mass consumption was being like fed to us mentally through advertising and through even, the teaching that had gotten into the school systems and into the, what nutritional information was being propagated to people for us to consume mentally and to take on as our beliefs. We were programmed to believe that we had to have these things, when in reality, the extent that was programming into us was making people sick and making people, with heart disease and with arteries and with joints and, arthritis and all of this sickness that then was feeding into this healthcare system that was then giving people the drugs that were then have side effects that would then, and it was just like costing bukus of money, way, lots and lots of money. And to the people, and it's just like it feeds into this whole system that is built on control and greed. And it was causing more harm than it was helping. Whereas, why couldn't we just say, here's the truth of what the body needs and give it that? Because I truly believe that if you give the body the conditions it needs to heal, it can heal itself. But by eating foods that make us sick and then trying to use chemical compounds that have been artificially derived, and then use that as a way to overcome the harm that we've done, that just makes us, it might fix or mask one thing, but then it causes other problems. So then you need another drug, and then it causes more problems, and then you need another drug. And eventually you're just a pharmaceutical factory, and you're caught in this system that's really hard to unravel yourself from. So I didn't want any part of that. So I opted out of the meat industry. Eventually, I saw the same thing within the dairy, and even worse in the dairy and in the egg industry, and I opted out of all of it. I don't want any part of any of that industry, and I do everything I can to withdraw from it. And that is a very strong conviction within myself. Now, I come upon the Sufi path. I had a whole spiritual awakening, that part of my spiritual awakening. There was a time where I really prayed for a teacher. And when I found myself on my knees praying for a teacher to take me by the hand and teach me how to live a life aligned with what I felt in my heart, because I felt like all of my old habits in terms of how I related to people and the things that were just a part of my subconscious, those patterns were remaining in place from long ago that didn't fit with the awakening that I had experienced. And so while I could, do the one thing, honestly, the food part was easy. The food part is easy, especially when you really allow yourself to feel the, I think everybody, if they really felt it in their beings and really tuned into what's happening in the world, and just the whole deceptive web that is woven through that, stems from our choice of what we put into our bodies through food and drinks, food and beverage, and the things we put on our skin, the products and the foods that we eat. It's like it's a fundamental piece of a huge web. And once you recognize that and feel that in your being and feel just like how off it is, and really let yourself feel the part of you that is straight and wants to be straight, the food part is easy. The food part is an easy change to make. Now, our dependence on food gets tied to a lot of other subconscious things. Our tribal uh, need to belong, and our fears of not surviving if we don't, and our our needs to be loved, and our emotional um, pacifiers, if you will, for when we get stressed out, and those kind of things. All of those tie into food and our habits with food and our desires for food. So, there's a lot there to unravel, and a lot of behavioral and relational patterns that live in the subconscious that go beyond the food. And that to me was harder to unravel all of that. So I found myself praying for a teacher. And when I did, and when I sincerely prayed for that teacher showed up. First, it was like, just showed up right in front of me and began teaching me. Now, at first it was energetic form for about a year. I say, I'm not sure exactly, but at least a year, that this teacher was with me and teaching me. And I didn't know if this person would actually exist in a physical form or what, but this being was there with me and teaching me. I did eventually meet this teacher, and without a doubt was able to continue the conversation in body once we actually met in physical form. When I first, I walked into this room where he was sitting on the floor at the front of the room teaching, and all these people gathered around him, and I walked in, and as soon as I walked in and I saw him with my eyes, my heart cracked open like a walnut, and the inner heart just felt like it melted onto the floor, just poured out onto the floor. And he saw me and he motioned for me to come up. So I'm like, me, here I'm walking into this room for the first time. And I went up and sat in front of him, in front of all of the people. And, and he asked me, "Beloved, what is in your heart?" And I was like, oh no, he's seeing all the darkness. He's seeing all my confusion. He's seeing my pain. And I was like, I don't know. And he says, deep, deep longing for God. And when he said that, he put his hands on my head and he said some prayers and words I recognized because I'd been with him for all this time. And when he did, I mean, my entire being lit up in this really strong vibration. And it felt like my feet didn't touch the ground for at least 2 weeks. And it was just no doubt that he was my teacher and the one that I was to study with. And in the Sufi tradition, we would have this thing called the bayat, which is taking a promise to God and taking his hand as a teacher. And in doing that, you give what's called a sacrifice. You give a financial contribution to go to feed the poor. And in the villages, in the area where he came from, in the Middle East, they would slaughter a sheep, and that sheep would feed the whole village. They didn't consume meat and don't consume meat in the way that we do, but that was a part of their tradition. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, can't do it. Can't do it. And I really had to do some deep soul searching because I knew I was here and meant to take hand with this teacher. But I could not allow an animal to lose its life for my soul to be elevated or anything like that. So it took me a while before I could come to terms with this. And it was explained to me how these people that were being fed were very poor, and that this was not the industry that we know in the United States, that there was a lifting of the soul of the animal, and this whole thing. And I actually got to a point where I could see the holiness in the way that this was done, and I could understand the benefit that it was bringing to those people. I could understand a reverence and a respect for the animal, and not a consumption in the way that we consume in this country that is so horrific and wasteful and detrimental to the animals and to the people and to the planet and to the environment. And I could see that, and I could see that, and I could feel it in my heart. And I was like, okay, I get it. And I still choose not. I choose not, because here's what I said to my teacher at one point. Didn't happen right in that moment, right? This is over time. I said to him at one point, I get it. And I know that if it were me there with that animal, I would not be able to take that action to end that animal's life. I would not want to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. That is not in me to do. And I don't want to close my eyes and blindly, like, just kind of shut down a part of my heart, because that's what it felt like I would have to do if I were to say, okay, well, I can't do this myself, but I'm going to close my eyes and let somebody else do it, and hold my breath. And then when it's over, then I'll open my eyes and look up and pretend it didn't happen. I didn't want to do that. And I told him I didn't want to do it that way. I didn't want to do it that way. And so until I could do it myself, I still didn't want that. And he did tell me, he said, people need other things. They need blankets. They need vegetables. They need, they need other things. Make sure you intend that any sacrifice you give goes to the other things and not to the sacrifice of the animals. Now, does it mean they're not still going to do that to feed the people? Yes, they still did that to feed the people. And so it was, I came to, and honestly, coming to that place where I could understand the spirituality of giving a sacrifice of yourself, which is, it's hard to explain in words. Kind of like there is that expression that says, die before you die. To really die to your ego in order to really, like, allow your spiritual being to have life. Like, I could get to that place and really feel that and respect that. And I could honor that there are very poor communities that need the help and the support to live. At that time, I do believe there has been time, a long time on our planet, where it is meant that we were to eat meat. And in some places, that is their only option. And where I am, and where I think the collective consciousness is evolving, that is all coming to an end, and we are coming to a place where it's not necessary. And especially in this country, in developed countries and cultures, we have so many more options where we don't have to have that meat or dairy or eggs, and we can opt out of a system that is very corrupt, and we can choose to align with what is in the highest good for all and for the planet. We can opt out. And so I did take hand with this teacher. And when I explained to him, just so you know, when I did explain to him why I felt the way I did, and how how all of my beliefs came together from the depth of my heart all the way out into this greater web of corruption and destruction to the planet. He jumped out of his chair and he stood up and he pointed his finger in the air and he said, "This is right! This is right!" So he did very much support me in that, in feeling the way that I did. And he actually then, he incorporated a lot of that conviction into the teachings he brought out to our community. And also into the things that we partake in terms of our food industry in this country. And he told us to become self-sufficient, to make sure that we could care for ourselves in and of our own because of the corruption and the detriment to the planet. So he did very much speak about that. And, so I was able to reconcile that, having this teacher that truly was, that I was able to have this relationship with, that truly did take me beyond where I ever imagined I could go spiritually, emotionally, consciously, and still be true to myself and have an understanding deep within myself and have choice around that really helped me to feel like more than ever in my life I align with truth and can live my truth regardless of what anything or anybody else believes or says or thinks, or how they might judge. Who cares? That what is important is living according to the conviction that has been inspired within me and through me, and to let that be in its fullness and shine through my facet of the jewel, right? Because as God said, I was a hidden treasure and I desired to be known. Each of us is a facet of a collective jewel, a hidden treasure. The more we align with the light that wants to shine through our facet of the jewel and polish the mirror or the surface of that jewel and let that light shine through, then from our own perspectives, the lens through which we see the world shifts. And on the larger scale, larger body, one collective body, more light shines through, and the collective body can come into a clearer focus and a clearer light that, God willing, can reveal a larger truth for all of us. So let's take a moment, and that story took longer than I thought. I apologize for that. But take a moment and breathe into your heart center. If it helps you can put your hands over your heart and let that center point in your palms, that little mini chakra at the center of your palms, line up with your heart center, and breathe into your heart. You can also, sometimes I put my fingertips all together and touch the tips of my thumb to that center of the heart, and let the fingers be like antenna that just brings in that light and love and compassion and funnels it right into that center point of the heart. So feel what feels right for you and go with what feels right for you, and breathe into your heart center. And ask for help from your source and from the angels, the guides, all of your support team on the unseen realms. Just ask for their help to guide you into the depths of your heart. And breathe into that center. And as you breathe, fall back into your heart, aligning your vertical core and letting your body fall back into your heart, your conscious body fall back into the center of your physical body, and lean into your heart space. Lean into your heart space. and fall back and feel your heart. Is there a calling in your heart? Is there a yearning in your heart? Something that your heart is calling you to align with, to live into, to be, that maybe has been in confusion in the past or has been in the shadows, in the darkness, that either that maybe you're seeing more clearly now. Is there something calling you? Breathe into, it's like align that vertical core of pure divine light and lean back into it and let this unconditional love pour through your heart. Let your whole being rest in the womb of compassion, this ocean of living consciousness, and receive into your heart. Breathe into your heart and let yourself fall back into your heart all the way into the center. The divine name for truth is Hak. Hak. There's a Q that's made all the way in the back of the mouth, the back of the upper palate. Hak. Hak. So it's like H-A-Q-Q. Hak. And that means divine truth. So what is that divine truth that's calling you from within your heart, that's asking you to live into it, to align with it, to be it? And allow yourself just to fall back and be immersed in it. And let this truth be like falling into the pure water. And let the pure water cleanse from your being anything that does not align with that truth. And let yourself be a witness to it. And just without trying to control or even understand or manipulate anything, just let it go as you fall back into it. Fall back and allow this truth to wash through you. And let your entire being rest into it and be washed and cleansed. And let yourself fall into that womb of compassion and be held. And let the compassion, as it holds you and nurtures you, let it just usher you into a space of alignment. And as it does, just let it wash away any of the old patterning, any of the old beliefs, any of the old structure, the old energies that have structured your being. Just let them wash away, let them be cleansed, and let your being be held in pure love, pure light, pure compassion, and washed with truth. And as your being is washed with truth, Yah-Hak, Yah-Hak, Yah-Hak. Just let yourself fall into this space and be repatterned. And it's more than repatterned, it's returned to your original patterning, to your original knowledge of truth and light. And let yourself just be returned and held in that space. And to let your conscious being, let your conscious being rest into that, and let your nervous system and your inner knowing acclimate. Like your nervous system is acclimating to your inner knowing, the truth of who you really are. And let it rest into your inner knowledge, leaving and allowing to float away any of the patterning or the programming that has told your nervous system or your conscious body that you had to be a certain way or do a certain thing in order to survive that is not aligned with this deeper truth. Anything that feels a little conflicting there, just let this yahak, 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 just let it wash through that and trust in the wisdom of it to carry away anything that is not of the truth, the divine truth that your inner being is aligned to and attuned to naturally. And let your inner being fall into that water of truth, and let your conscious body and your nervous system acclimate to that water of truth. Like let your temperature adjust and become comfortable in that temperature of that water of truth, and feel yourself resting into that truth and feel yourself held in safety and in connection and in understanding. Like this is where you can really be understood and seen and known for your truth and valued and held and loved. And take a deep breath in. Let yourself be held in this womb of compassion. Take a deep breath in. Let your inner core light align with this truth. Take a deep breath in and let yourself be loved in this place of truth. Feel the safety. Feel the connection that you've longed for all this time, that truly holds you as safe and true, and that inner solidity and fulfillment that your being craves. This is where you come into that place where your truth meter pegs all the way to 100%. And the grass is green, the sky is blue, the sun is bright, and you are you. Kun fayakun, that means be and it is. Kun fayakun, be and it is. Kun fayakun, be and it is. And kun is the word for be that contains the k and the nun, right? The kaf and the nun, and the k is the creator, the nun is the creation. It is the hidden within the manifest. It is the creator within the creation. There is no separation. There is no part of creation that does not contain, that is not a part of this hidden treasure, that does not contain a facet of this jewel. So be kun, 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 and just feel yourself becoming more and more solid at your core, really aligning with that truth, feeling yourself being like that inner certainty coming through your core and creating that sense of connection and safety as you align with your own core inner truth. Kun fayakun, be and it is. Kun fayakun, be and it is. Kun fayakun, be and it is. Take a deep breath, calling all the parts of yourself into your vertical core. Elongate your spine, lean into your body. Exhale, drop down and land into your pelvic bowl and feel your presence in your body, in your I am center. Right? Your I am center is that sacral center, that it's the center of your hips, where you're behind your lower dantian, right? Where that vital life force energy, that center of gravity in your body, where you really can feel your core strength that supports you. Let yourself drop into that place in your pelvic bowl and feel your strength. Let it support you, and be who you are created to be, who you know yourself at the depths of your being to be, who you are. You are, when you're not in fear of survival and in turning your need to an outer source. but this is you at the core of your being in your own truth. Kun. So I invite you to stay with that. If you have any questions or want to share anything or need support, press *2 if you're on the phone, type it in if you're on the webcast. I'm going to close the recording and then we'll open for any Q&A or discussion. For those of you listening to the recording or watching the replay, you're welcome to join us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining us live at communityforconsciousliving.com. communityforconsciousliving.com. While you're there, sign up to receive the reminders and the replays of our live events and other things that we have going on. When you do this, you will receive 2 gifts, a one-sheet that is a reminder of the truth of who and what we are and what this life journey is about and why we're here. It's a good reminder for those times when we start getting caught up and pulled in different directions that take us out of this core truth. Right? So that is a good reminder. It also comes with a downloadable meditation that is a 15-minute guided meditation to help you to align with that pure divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion that is at the core of who you are and your connection with the all that is. So please take advantage of both of those things and plan to join us live on Sundays. Hope to see you next week. Thank you.